A lot of people who watch my videos, even this video right now, will never actually make it to being a profitable Forex or stock market trader slash investor. In today's video, we're going to talk about a really heavy topic, talking about why most traders never really make it and how you could potentially avoid being one of those traders. Stay tuned. Let's get into it. Hey traders, so today's topic is pretty heavy. I'm gonna light a candle, I'm gonna get comfortable because this video is one that has been requested a few times on my channel and is one for good reason because we've got some pretty kind of serious things to think about here. We're talking about the fact that most traders don't make money. And in fact, in a lot of different statistics will show from brokers, right? Brokers who show their clients' returns and losses, upwards of 90 to 95% on a lot of different brokers are actually losing money on the retail trading side of things. Why is this? And how can we avoid being one of those? Or we want to be out of the crowded 95%, we want to be in the 5% of profitable traders. Well, I think that being in the 5% is something that you have to seriously earn. And the reality is that if you're watching my video right now, if you're watching other ones of my videos, the reality is a lot of people sadly will never actually really get to the point where they are in the 5% club, where they are really making money on a consistent basis from Forex trading. And why is that? Well, in this video, I'm gonna attempt to try and give you guys my opinion as to why I think that is and what helped me to actually, I guess, get to that 5% club. Now, when I say I'm in the 5% club, I don't mean that I'm printing zillions out of the market every single day. I don't like to come across as a mega guru here on the internet. That's not really my style. I like to talk about the reality of trading. And to me, being in the 5%, the first thing we need to understand before we talk about why people fail is because we actually need to understand what it means to be in the 5%. Because a lot of people have this picture of what the 5% club looks like, and they kind of view it as this Lamborghinis, mansions, pools, bazillion dollars on the table, all of that stuff, right? That is not really how I view trading. Now that I'm actually consistently profitable in the market, you can see some of the performance that I've shared. It's not like it's, millions overnight. I've shared, on my track record, for me, looking like, 2 to 5% per month and doing that consistently on a large amount of money that I continue to deposit from other sources of income. That's what being part of the 5% club to me looks like. It's making consistent gains on a account, but not doubling and tripling, not flipping that account overnight. That's just not what being in the 5% club for me looks like. Maybe for some traders who are more talented than I am could do that, but for me, what it means is just building an account slow and steady and not blowing it, right? For a lot of you guys, I'm sure maybe the first step towards being profitable would be, how can I stop blowing these accounts? Right? And so if we're gonna try and highlight differences between the 95% of traders who just sit there losing money and account after account getting blown, between the 5% is, first of all, understand the differences in expectations, right? The 95%ers, a lot of them are trying to double and triple accounts really quickly. They're like, I've got 200 bucks, I'm gonna try and flip it in the next week, right? And they're going for that, and it's often why they stay in the 95% club, I guess, or the 95% prison, if you want to call it that, right? They're trying constantly to make quick money, and that's just never been something that I've done. I would be in the 95% club if I was trying to double and triple accounts all the time too, honestly, right? For me, the best way is to build accounts slow and steady and to do it at a rate that I can control without blowing accounts left and right. So again, the reality is that a lot of people who watch content on YouTube, who spend some time with this, are never really gonna make it. And I think the next big major separation is if you really want to be in the 5% club, you need to put in the work. And the reality is that you can watch videos, you can enjoy content, and there's all these flashy people on the internet to watch. But at the end of the day, if you are not somebody with a rigorous, hardworking spirit and love for trading, you likely will never make it, okay? And I don't say these things happily, right? I don't want people to fail in Forex. That's not something that I take pride in. And in fact, because I run a business and we run one of the largest and most active trading communities, We get a lot of emails from people who have lost a lot of money, unfortunately, in Forex. And that's never something that myself or my staff members like to receive from people who, have had a trail of terrible experiences in their trading journey, right? That's not something that we look forward to. So I don't say those things lightly. Just that the sad reality is that, again, 95% of people are losing, and it honestly comes down to a lot of times there's a lot of people who are just straight up lazy. And there's no other word for it. There's a lot of lazy people out there who, yeah, they'll watch a little bit of content and they'll call that, trying, but they won't go out and backtest strategies. They won't take the time to go pour through data and analysis and strategize their own kind of concepts up. They'd rather just look for some sort of easy answer or drop $500 to $1,000 on a course, and when it doesn't make them immediately profitable, they complain that they'll never really, that trading is a scam and everybody out there is just losing money and just saying they're not. Right? The reality is that there are people who make consistent money in the Forex market. That is definitely true. It's something that when I was a newer trader, I had that same doubt. I was like, I'm having a hard time seeing that anybody's really making money and being able to show it. There are people with track records. You can go look them up on myfxbook.com. I share my own on my website. Make sure to check that out as well. But again, it's important that you actually look at that realistic track record, look at the people who show one, and you'll notice that people who are actually making money are doing it consistently with steady growth rather than overnight, rags to riches sort of stories. Anyways, that kind of concept of putting in the work is something that most people will never do. Unfortunately, that's just the reality. Every successful trader I know, this should be a testament by itself. Every successful trader that I know has two main attributes that they relentlessly do, right? Every single one of them. Number one is they have an incredible love for trading or investing, whether it's in stocks or currencies, because I have friends and people that I know who trade or invest in stocks or in currencies. And the main thing here is that they are absolutely passionate about it. A lot of the people that I know that are actually successful in it, anytime I see them, it doesn't take us long before we chat a little bit about what's going on in the stock market, or whether we think a certain currency is doing something, interesting, right? So they have a severe passion for it. Number two is that these people are incredibly hard working. Me and myself, I love this stuff, and so it's easy for me to work really hard. But there's days where when I was trying to learn or I was just getting started, I was watching some videos, yes, but I was probably spending upwards of 4 to 5 hours a day trying to learn more about the markets. And that doesn't mean just reading and kind of just watching content. It was, I'd take content that I'd see on the internet or read in an article, and I would go test it. I would get in my MetaTrader 4 platform, and I would scroll back in the chart and I would go through historical data, back testing concepts, coming up with strategies, writing down trading plans, and seeing how they worked, testing them, revising them, and going forward. Until I found a couple strategies that to this day I still trade, and occasionally I add another strategy onto my system. For starters, I guess the next thing is that so many people will stay in the 95% because they never stick to a strategy that they've properly back tested. We just got done saying that most people will never even really take the time to go test and build concepts. That's already off the table, because the next thing that you need to do is actually be able to stick to something. If you come up with something that has a pretty decent performance historically and you say, hey, this strategy looks pretty good, and then you don't have the emotional or psychological discipline to stick around and hang on to that strategy, then you're never gonna be able to do something consistently. And trading, as you probably have heard, is truly, no questions asked, it's based on consistency. You have to be able to be disciplined and consistent. It is psychologically a game that is possibly the hardest part about becoming a profitable and successful Forex trader. I know you hear that a lot, and it kind of makes me cringe a little bit, because I don't like to just say, the only thing that's going to make you a profitable trader or the only thing stopping you from being profitable is your psychology. Right? Because that sounds kind of like, too easy of an answer. There is, to me, there are components that you have to be able to manage risk properly. You have to build trading strategies and plans and be able to have an answer for most situations, or if not all situations, so that you know what to do. That's also important too. But trading psychology, truly, as cliche as it sounds, is very important. You have to be able to have a strong psychology. Here's another thing. And this one's kind of, I don't want to sound condescending or you know, that I think I have my life together or anything, but you have to have confidence, okay? A lot of people out there, they don't have confidence in themselves in other parts of life. They have insecurities, they have issues, and everybody does. I myself do as well. But I generally consider myself relatively confident in myself. I have a pretty good self-esteem, I would say. And that's really, really important in most successful traders. If not all successful traders that I know, they're pretty confident in themselves. They know themselves pretty well. They're not super arrogant. They're not super, you know, full of themselves. They're just confident in their own ability, and they believe that they can do something. And unfortunately, another sad reality is that a lot of people don't. They're not there mentally, they're not, you know, comfortable with themselves, and they're still working on themselves, as we all are. But that is actually truly a very important component to trading success. Is somebody who can actually have the self-esteem and the confidence and the ability to stick to something even though it gets hard. Because let's face it, trading gets hard. It gets really, really hard. And the only people who are going to actually be profitable in the long term are going to be able to get through those tough times, which emotionally can be very draining, which psychologically can be very difficult. And most people will fall by the wayside along the way. Again, I don't mean to be dark or condescending, or I don't want to say that it's impossible for people out there, because it's not. It is possible to kind of checkbox the things that we talked about in this video. At least they were important for me. Maybe they're important for you too. But those are the things that really, to me, separate the 5% from the 95%. But in the end, those are the things that I find most valuable to actually becoming part of the 5% of traders who actually make money. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Let me know. I'm going to try and read some of the message there, and I'll get back to you as much as I can. Make sure to leave the video a thumbs up if it was helpful to you, and we'll see you back in the next one.